All righty. And then I'm going to share my screen. 1 second. Let me just get set up. Okay. So let me share my screen. And let me just zoom in a little bit. Might be a little bit small for people. All right. So we're going to add somebody as a new member to our org. We're going to be working in this folder, which is our cloud pages. So let me just go into setup, and we'll just walk through how we're going to go and do that today, just for those. Those might be most may be familiar on how to do this, but we're going to walk through it anyways. So we're going to go to users in setup. And what I like to do is, just because we're going to be creating a user based on a certain template, I'm just going to go and pull up my user, and we can just make sure that we're using we use a specific username syntax, and I just want to make sure that for the new user that we're adding, if we're following that syntax. So I'm just going to duplicate this tab, and then we'll create a new user for Vivian. So I'm just going to hit create here. And then I'm going to go back into our Zoom to get her information. That is in the chat. So it was. And thank you, Vivian, for volunteering. And then let's copy her email address. And then we, I think, do the VUFODIKE@mcdemo.com. And let me just make sure that's right. So yeah, first name of the first name and the last name, mcdemo.com. Looks good. And then for the password, Vivian, I just typically do capital PASSWORD, 1, 2, 3, $. So we'll do that again. Capital PASSWORD, 1, 2, 3, $. And we're going to hit save. Fantastic. She is a new user. Now we just need to do a couple of things to grant her access. So we're going to go to Vivian. And we're going to manage the business units that she has access to. For this use case, she's going to have access to our main partner BU. So this is the default business unit. So we'll just go to partner main for her on that. And then for access, we're going to give her access to the main business unit. We'll give her access to all of them just for today, and then we'll dial it back just to hands-on external. We have our use case set up in our partner main for today. So that gives her that access, and this is her default there. So we'll just hit save on that. And then we'll just log in one more time to her. And we're going to manage her roles. And just for today, we're just going to give her admin and marketing cloud admin. We'll dial that back after today as well. Save that. And I don't know if others do the same thing, but I kind of like just going through here and checking all these boxes. Sometimes we find, sorry. Can everybody hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of like just checking all these boxes. I don't know, sometimes I've found with users that it's inconsistent. Sometimes they don't have access. So this I think just gives us that security for that. And again, we're granting just her full access for now, then we'll be dialing this back after our session. Okay. And then Vivian, have you ever logged into Marketing Cloud before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so let me just drop in this URL. It's different than the typical login. It's not this Salesforce login. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing and see if you can share. Can you try sharing your screen?
Yes, I will. Sharing now. Oh, it's disabled.
Okay, so now I need to figure out how to okay, share screen. I think that. Try that again.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm sorry, your username, let me send you your username. That would help. Oh, I think awesome, you remember. Excellent. Fantastic.
I just copy. Is that an MFA? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And you have the authenticator. That's great.
Yes. Do I have to? Do I have to change the password?
Yeah, you do. That'll be just a couple of steps, and then you should be good from that point on. But yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. Just a second.
Yep. They make it so easy.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Weird. Your security answer. Oh, maybe your Lagos needs to be at least 8 characters. Oh, and Henry. Yeah, Henry may need to.
Oh my God. Oh my. Finally.
Yeah. Yay, you're in. Awesome.
Yay.
Fantastic. Is
Thank
this your
you.
first? Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
My
Is
first, yes.
this is the first time you've been in Marketing Cloud? Okay, fantastic. So, so today's use case, I don't know if, did you attend the SSJS bootcamp or bootcamp session yesterday when we were building out that multi-form use case?
No, I missed yesterday.
That's no problem. So we're gonna build out that use case. And I'll just give you a brief overview of what that's doing. So
Okay.
we Michelle presented yesterday, and she was building this cloud page. So the use case is that Cervelo Bank is looking to create a form page that is going to help qualify the new people coming in to qualify for different financial products. So it's going to be a multi-page form, and it's going to be AI driven depending on how they fill out their information. So, for example, the use case that we walked through is that if they're a small business, if they have less than 500 employees, then they're going to be directed to a different set of questions. If they're greater than 500 employees, then they're going to go to a different form. They qualify for a different type of product, investment product. So what we want to do is create that page from scratch, where we want to build a page where we can have somebody enter in their form data. And then if depending on how, like that company size, direct them to a different page that if they're a small company, they'd get the small page. And then if they're a large company, they would get the large page, and that would take their information, move it onto the next page. And then also if they say they were filling out this form, they started filling it out, and they didn't fill it all out, they came back, they wouldn't have to start from scratch. It would naturally know who they are and direct them to like page 2. They wouldn't have to start all over. So that's what we're looking to build in Marketing Cloud using server-side JavaScript in a cloud page. So that's the use case. And so we're gonna walk through building that from scratch. And Vivian, you don't have to have any experience in any coding language. We're gonna walk through that bit by bit. So what we'll do is we're going to be working in cloud pages, which you see under the blue cloud, there's a bunch of different icons. There's this Web Studio icon. It's the 5th one over. Yep. So we're going to click into there, and we're going to go into cloud pages.
Web. Oh, okay.
Yep. And then you want to arrow down to that cloud pages. Yep. We'll click into there. Fantastic. Okay, excellent. And then we have a folder there in Cloud Pages. You create these folders, which are called collections. So our first collection in the upper left-hand corner is this SSJS Bootcamp. It's got a visual of like a little orange bar. Yeah, let's click into that. And in any collection, you've got a variety of different pages that you can put in here. So you can see we've done quite a bit of work on how we were building this out. And so we've got different iterations of this use case, which we're going to refer back to just to make sure their code is looking good. So for instance, if you click on that MFP step 1 copy, that third one over, yep. So this is the finished product that Michelle demoed yesterday. So you can see there's this form down there, that first name, last name, email address, company size. So we're going to create that from scratch today. How to build a form. And this has so if you click on that debug error section, it should open up a little. So if you scroll over, there we go. And if you click right in that gray area, so what that does is it opens up the code for that block. And all of that code there at the top is server-side JavaScript, which Michelle took us through yesterday. So in our cloud page that we're gonna build this from scratch as well. We're gonna go straight through all of our process, which is the first thing that we're gonna do is how to capture the data that people enter in and store that into a data extension, how to move them from page to page. So we're going to walk through, you're going to be building this from scratch, but I just wanted to give you a reference point of a page that has it all. So we're going to be referring back to this a little bit just to make sure that that we're aligned with how it's currently set up. So does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So why don't we, what we'll do is we're going to create a second tab here. So if you go to the to your browser tab up there in Chrome, where it's that Cloud Pages dash Marketing Cloud in the upper left-hand corner. And if you so if you go up a little bit further to your browser tab, a little further up, the very tab there, a little further up to the left, that just to the left of that tab, right there, perfect. And if you right click on that, let's duplicate this tab. And then if you hit duplicate, so our first tab is going to be our code source, which is the perfected version of it. So we'll refer back to that. This tab we're going to create, we're going to work off a blank slate. So if you go back into that SSJS collection on the you'll want to stay in the tab that you're in. So if you go, and then if you go click into there, perfect. And so what I've done is the cloud page all the way to the left where it says MFP step 1 hands-on 11. Yep, let's click into that. What I did is I took the cloud page from that you have in your left tab, and I've cleared it out. So we're going to start fresh here and build something new altogether. So the first thing that we want to do is build in that form page for what's going to be used for the form itself. So if you on that block that you've got there, you see a little arrow on the right hand corner. There's like a little circle with an arrow within that block. Yep. So if you click there, and if you click on that and you hit duplicate, very cool. Now scroll down to let's click into this, and then you can delete all of this. So you can just highlight the entire code. We're going to start with some fresh code here. Okay. So the first thing that we want to do is we're going to create the form itself. We want to create a 4 different blocks that's going to capture first name, last name, company, and size. And there's a little, we're not going to do this right from scratch, but I'm going to send you a link in the chat for in the AMP script guide. There's a little bit of code that we can use to get us most of the way there. So this request parameter function allows us to take our data and move it to the next page. So if you scroll down a little bit, so what we want to do is we want to copy in that section where it says, if you see where it says, there's a caret and it says form action request parameter page URL. Yeah, a couple lines down. Yep, you're right in the right section. Just a couple of spaces above there. See where it says there's a caret, that form action. We want to copy the line, all the way down to the \form. So if you just go up 2 more lines down, we want to copy to the /form. A little further down. Perfect. Let's copy that. And then let's go back into our cloud page, the second one. Yep. And then we're just going to paste this in right here. Okay, fantastic. So what we've got here is we've got a raw template of what we need here. So we've got fields. So we've got first name, last name, company, and email. And we've got this request parameter function, which is on line 1, which is going to allow us to move our code to the next page. So what we want to do now is just want to clean this up a little bit. So one of the things that I kind of like in the code that is in the other example. So let's go back to in your first tab. Let's go back into let's go to that first tab. And then let's click into the block that has the form there. And what you can do is, you see the little window between the 2 environments. There's like a little bar just to the left. You can widen your code bar that's on the left. If you widen that, there you go. It gives you a little bit more room. So as you can see, what we copied over, we've got a lot of this code in here. So we've got the action request parameter page URL. We pulled over that from AMP script. Some of that other information on that form field is a little, we can go in that in another time, but I think that functionality is there. What I kind of like about this form is it's got this, you see how the first name is sort of nested inside the little square over there on the right? And that placeholder text that's at the end of that line, you see where it says placeholder first name? Let's just copy that placeholder equals first name text from that example. Yeah. And then let's bring that over to your page. So I think if you just Control C, you can copy that. And then let's go over to our, yep. And then let's paste that. Let's widen this bar a little. Perfect. And then at the end of that, we're on that line 3 where it says at the end of that first name, let's paste that in right after name equals first name. We're going to paste in this placeholder text. Yep, so right at the end of that first name in the code, you might have to arrow over. Is it not letting you to allow
It's
you to
not letting
highlight?
me. Yeah.
Try arrowing over on your keyboard.
It's not working.
That's weird. Try hitting done editing at the bottom. And then let's click into it again. But it'll be the block below. Yeah. And then try that. There you go. Okay, cool. And then right to the left of the placeholder, you can delete the space right before it. And then there's that caret. And then you can do one more delete. Cool. So now you see how it appears. Now first name is appearing there in our little text box. It's kind of cool. So what we can do now is we can delete the line 2, which is, we don't need the first name before. We're using the first name inside of, you can keep all of that, but on line 2 of the code where it says label, first name, and then / label, a little further up, you see on the, yep, that right above that line. So the line right above it, that line, yeah, you can delete that. Perfect. And then at the end of line 3, where the first name, let's add a right at the end of there. Yeah, let's add a open caret. So a less than or equal sign. Yep. And then let's type in BR and then a close caret. Perfect. So that breaks that off into a new line. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to copy that placeholder first name text, or you might still, yeah, we can copy actually that whole thing. Perfect. And then let's do that. Let's add that to last name. Yep, and you just have to delete the, yep. And then you have to delete, yep, that caret there, yep. Perfect. And then you can delete line 3, the last name line right above it. Perfect. So done. And then we can go on to the next one, which is company. Nice. Fantastic. And then we've also got this field in here called submitted. So that is an empty field that is going to be populated and created when somebody clicks on the submit button in that form. So what we want to do is we want to change that button there. That needs to be modified. And so I'm going to send you another link to some more documentation on different types of buttons. Fantastic. So I think if you scroll down to, well, yeah, if you scroll down to, let's see, where's a good place to grab some code? You see, if you scroll up a little bit where it says button type, you just scroll up just a little further on that page. There's a couple of, they give you a couple of different examples of code. So we've got, yeah, in that section, it gives you an ability to create this button at the bottom. And you've got two different options. You've got a submit button, which actually submits the request. And then you've got a reset button. Yeah, you can see the description there, a couple of different types of syntax on how to do that. And they give you a good example. So if you scroll up to the code, I think it's the second one from the bottom, is the submit button code. So if you scroll up just a little bit further, it actually gives you a little further, yeah, right in that code. You see where that says button type submit value equals submit button? That's second from the bottom. Yeah, let's copy that and then let's bring that over to our page. And then let's replace that with that input line. Yep. And let's paste that in there. Good, looks good. So yeah, that looks like that's aligns with what we want. That's a good submit button. Let's hit done editing on this block, and then let's hit save because you've done some really good work here. And let's, so our next thing that we want to do is we want to validate that when we submit something from this form, that it registers that it's submitted, that we're actually able to capture some information. So we're going to go back into, we're going to go into our code block where it says debug and error. So if we click into, yep, right there. And what we want to do in this block, the first thing is so when you're filling out that form, what you just created is that whenever someone fills it out, you're creating all of these different variables that the cloud page captures. And what you want to do is you want to take that data and you want to convert it into a way where you can set that as a variable so that you can output it or that you can use it in your code. So it's like converting the values that captured in the cloud page into server-side JavaScript. So what we want to do is to test this. One of the values that you're creating upon submitting of a form is this submitted value. So what we want to do is we want to take that value and we want to convert it into a variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you some code on how we're going to do this in server-side JavaScript. This is syntax on how to take a form field and convert it into a variable so that you can use it in your script. So it's a relatively straightforward syntax. It's basically this platform.request.getForm field is the actual function. And then all you do is put in the name of that value. So what you can copy is just that line itself, the var form field line. Yep. Let's copy that. And then we're going to paste that into our cloud page. And then you can place that between the two scripts. So maybe on line 3 or 4. Excellent. Okay, and so what this is going to do is it's going to set this variable form field to the name of the value that we're creating in our form. So if you go back to your, right below to your form section on the right, over there where you had created that form, yep. And let's click into that. And so the value that we've got, if we wanted to test the field called submitted, which is this, this hidden field, we could use the value of the value that we're looking that gets populated for the submitted field is true. So if you go and copy that syntax for true in that value, see on line 6 where it says the input name is this name is submitted, and then there's the true. Yeah, so if you just copy the word true, yeah, and then let's go back up to your that code snippet, yeah. And then we want to, the get form field, we want to name that value as, well, actually, I think that's what's going to output. So sorry, I think the name that we want to pull, if you go back to the form, I think it's the submitted. Yeah, so if you copy that name where it says name equals submitted, that's the name of the variable that we want to put in there. So on line 6 where it says input, yeah, that's submitted. Thank you. Yeah. That's what we want to put in that variable. So if we copy that, and then we want to place that in there, fantastic. Excellent. So now that we have this field, what we want to do is we want to output it. So can we just output this field to validate that? So I'm going to send you another link in the server-side JavaScript documentation for how to set a value to output. So if we click on that link, and this is a very simple syntax as well. The first value you want to put in is the variable that you want to set that value to, and then the second one is the value itself. So yep, we'll copy that, and then you can paste that after that line. Perfect. And so the variable that for the first value what we want to put in there is what we've got in our debug and error output is we're able to that does is it outputs those variables. Yeah. So if you put in there the @debug variable syntax, you see that on line 10 there's an @debug. Yep. So if you copy that, and then if you paste that into where the example variable value is, yep. And then for our what we want to set it to, it's the example value, but you can use, that's going to be the form field value that you just created. So if you type that in, you can either copy it from line 3, but it's form field. So yeah, you want to copy. See the variable there? We set a variable called form field on that line. So you want to copy that's the variable itself. You want to copy that, which is in blue, and then let's paste that into we have example and you won't need quotes on this. So if you paste this in, and then if we remove the quotes both before and after, yeah, and then you can replace the one after. Okay, great. So what this is doing is we're basically setting this form field variable to that submitted variable that we created in our form. And now we're going to do is set that variable debug to that form field, and then it's going to output it. That's what the AMP script down on line 10 is doing, that % equals v debug. That should be outputting whatever that hidden variable. So it should come across as true when we submit something. So let's hit done editing on this. And let's hit save in the upper right-hand corner. And then let's hit schedule and publish. See if we have any issues with the page. All looks good. We'll hit publish. In the lower, yeah, right-hand corner. Fantastic. And now there's a little blue URL just to the upper left-hand within this page. You see where it says page URL? A little more to the left. Yep, if you click on that blue link, yep, it's going to pull up a sample of this page. You can just click on it actually. Yep, it'll open up a new page. Okay, fantastic. So now let's fill in your information. Put in whatever you want. Okay, cool. And let's hit submit. And there's that true value. So what you did, you submitted it. And what that did is it created that variable, that hidden variable that you had created, and it set it to true. And we basically just outputted it. So what this step helps you do is confirm that, okay, this form is working as expected. So you sort of got the pipes, working before we go to the next step, which is we're going to create a data extension where we're going to capture all of this data. So let's go back to the cloud page real quick and just review what we set up there. And then if you click into that, that first name, last, the form. Let's click into there. And so that submitted field, that line 6, because it's a hidden field, nothing is showing up. We basically are just outputting that, but that is a way to confirm that, a submission has been made. And we're going to use that value throughout this document to say, well, if something has been submitted, then we're going to do, another step. So that was good to set that up, and we're really set up into a nice place. This is really good work. We've really set up the framework for doing some more server-side JavaScript to populate, to pull in the data, and then to start moving them to different pages, which we'll do in our next session. Nice job, Vivian, especially first time being in Marketing Cloud, first time with server-side JavaScript.
Yeah,
Excellent job, and I apologize for being late. I wish we had a little bit more time, but I think this was a good place to stop anyways. Really set up a nice framework there.
Thank you.
Any questions from you or anyone else before we break?
I don't have a question. Sorry.
Okay.
I lost my voice. That's why.
Oh. Get access to the code. Sure. Vivian, do you want to copy that code you just created there and just paste that into the chat? Okay. And then let's go to the block above. Yep. That one right below that one there. Yep. Let's copy all of that. And then let's paste that into the chat as well. Fantastic. And then one thing I wanted to note that we didn't cover in detail, we're sort of going a little bit fast, is that if you click on one of those, your tabs all the way to the right where there's the Salesforce documentation, I just wanted to go through some of these a little bit quickly. So this is a great resource for all of the server-side JavaScript functions, both platform functions and just general functions. So definitely, I think if you search, those links are in the chat for people to take a look at. But this is a good resource. Here's another question: Is it the only way to create forms, or we do have others? Yes, there are definitely other methods. There's a smart capture within Marketing Cloud, which creates a form that's super easy. It creates all the forms for you, and you can just select the data extension. So it's quick and easy if you want to do something that way. And then within HTML, I'm sure there's a variety of different ways to create forms. We're just doing this as a very basic example so that we can have the code work and work back and forth and show the use case. We're hoping to do an HTML bootcamp at some point down the line, maybe some point next year. So we'll make a note to come up with a couple of different ways within HTML to create different types of forms. I think that would be very valuable. Thank you for that question. There's this source of documentation, which is incredibly helpful. Vivian, if you go to that, the AMP script guide link, yeah, and if you just click on that, yeah, I think your Zoom controls are in the way. The AMP script guide is absolutely huge as far as a resource. And, you know, we even use this for SSJS today. So you can find that it sort of crosses code back and forth as well, and has a lot of good HTML as well. But definitely highly recommend, you know, bookmarking both the server-side JavaScript documentation tab and this AMP script guide. And then your tab to the right, that W School tab, where you were looking at the HTML button type attributes. So your browser tab just to the right. Yeah, this one is also a really good source. So whenever I'm searching for HTML, this site always comes up with handy code variations as well. It's extensive. I mean, there's just a ton in here. So I find it a little bit more challenging to use than something like the AMP script guide or the server-side JavaScript guide, only because HTML is just massive. But it is a great resource to, whenever you're building something in HTML, always look here, because it can give you some short tips and gives you an explanation on different things. Like this button explanation, I think, is kind of helpful to know the different types of buttons there. Yeah, that's a great question about access. So we are doing another hands-on session next week, and you know, everybody is welcome to attend that session. So please, you know, apply or reserve, you know, click on that link that you sign up for this session. And then, does everybody have access to the MC Learning Camps Slack channel? That is a great place. We actually have a channel within that Slack environment just for these hands-on sessions where you can sign up. And okay, so I think let me find that link and share that in the chat. Just search for that MC. To find that URL. I'm not so good about adding Slack. All right, I'm gonna post, this is the LinkedIn feed that you can join and reach out to JB on that. If you have a problem getting into the MC Learning Camp Slack channel, and then I'm trying to find the link for that. Let me just check one more thing. I'm sorry, this is taking so long. Try that too. And I think I might have to put an HTTPS for MC Learning Camp. But either one of those, try those. You can also send a LinkedIn message to myself or to JB if you're having a problem getting into the that channel. And then let me just show you in the Slack channel. We've got a couple of different channels where you can well, the channels are Hands on Builders and SSJS Bootcamp. Challenges. And then if you can't reach any of those, here I'll send my LinkedIn profile. You can always ping me. I can help you get in there. Okay, yeah, you tried to log into that channel. I have no access. I'll ask JB about that. So yes, we'll try to get you in there. So yeah, I'd recommend if you can sign up for the next session on the where you signed up for this one, and then we'll try to make sure that we get you access for our next session. And then how long do you have access to the instance? We've been pretty much just leaving it open for people. We put you not into our main business unit, but sort of a hands-on business unit. And so we haven't really restricted anything yet. So you pretty much have it for, a couple of months that you can have access to that. So
am I allowed to build like a journey?
Yep,
just
you certainly can.
playing around.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you can play it around. If you wouldn't mind, if you could not actually send any emails, just reach out to us if you have any questions. But yeah, you can play around in the tool. That's the only thing that we have to be careful of is actual sending of emails, because if we send out a bunch of bad emails, then that'll affect the IP address that we're working with, and then Salesforce will come back to us and be like, hey, what are you guys doing? But as long as people are building and creating different things, like cloud pages are pretty safe, and you can create the journeys. But when you're built a journey, and if you want to send an email, just reach out to us in the Slack channel, and we'll be like, okay, yeah, that looks good, and yeah, sure, and then go ahead and test those, or we could send those tests to you as well.
Okay. That's
a great question. Awesome, great questions. Please reach out to us, and I apologize. We'll figure out how to get people in the MC Learning Camp in Slack. In fact, in our next hands-on session, if people aren't in there, that'll be the first thing that we do. We'll have JB on, and we're going to get whoever wants to get access to the MC Learning Camp. We'll give them access to that channel. And then one other thing I wanted to also point out is that we've got this hands-on site where if you sign up as well, we'll have your name added to the list of people who want to build. So that's you can click on there as well and fill out that information, and we'll get you added to the list for potential builders. So, and Vivian, if you're interested in next week, if you have availability, because we had a shortened session for you building, if you wanted to, we could have you build again next week. If you're up to it, we have multiple sessions coming up, and these will pretty much hopefully happen every week ongoing. So
okay, yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I'll check in with you on that, and we'll go from there.
Perfect.
Okay, excellent. Vivian, thank you so much. Thank you for jumping right in. And it's so amazing. Your first time in Marketing Cloud, and you did so well. So really appreciate that. It's not easy being on the hot seat. So excellent job. And we'll see everyone next week. Please join. There's another SSJS bootcamp session next Wednesday. where Sandesh will be presenting. Sandesh is our developer, our genius on our team who's developing all of this code. Michelle and I are functional people, and we really love the code, but Sandesh is the genius behind it. So I would highly, highly recommend you attending next Wednesday's session, because he's going to be digging into how AmpScript and server-side JavaScript work together. He's going to give you a lot of different tips. And we're going to continue building out the form page that we were working on today in that session, in the hands-on session on Thursday. And we'll just keep these going until we finish this use case. So, all right, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.